boy, wow. Thanks, Brett, for being here. And thanks, Billy, for choking up a little bit so I don't look like the only one out here going to be crying tonight. So, Brett, we had some great years together. Holly was a great teammate, great friend. And I would have loved to have about 8-9 years with Brett Hall on my right wing. JD, Pat Quinn, who can't be here, we send our best to you. The entire Hall of Fame selection committee, thank you for this tremendous honor. I'm on a time crunch here, but two guys I want to mention for sure that made this possible for me to be here today.
TC and Jake.
I love you both more than you'll ever know.
Oh, I know, Bo. I know.
He loves you so much, he's going to get fired under questionable circumstances, really kind of abdicate his responsibilities to the team, and then move to Arizona. I think I got the sequence of events there, but I'm just saying, loves us so much, he's in fucking Phoenix.
Yeah, who would have thought that
Fuck him, dude.
Mike Padano
Phoenix
was not ready to put in the grind as a consultant whenever he's like, yeah, I'll come in town once a year or so. I'll be in Scottsdale the other
I don't care whether or not he draws a paycheck from the team. I don't care about the whole thing. But anyone who implies in word or deed that we are anywhere in the fucking neighborhood of goddamn Phoenix is going to catch something from me, dude. And it's not positive vibe. Not posy vibes, dude.
You're going to Rowan-Nick him?
I'm straight up not having a good time.
Yeah, he came to a hockey tournament that I played at whenever I was like 11. Maybe I was like a little bit younger.
Did he say you were going to be the next one?
He came. No, he was. I mean, dude, at this point, like, he must have been mid-20s, but he was not thrilled to be there.
I mean,
he did like a 20-minute.
You guys probably didn't put on much of a product.
That's an extremely fair assessment.
He gets to watch the NHL up close.
Yeah, well, I mean, even play in it, you know?
Sometimes.
So this week's Easter basket moment
Most
of the
hockey
week.
players don't play that much. All of them don't play that much.
People don't talk about that.
They should. Fucking lazy, dude.
So this has not moved off my what's happening.
Charles Leno's out here every snap. Just fucking knocking bodies. He's got to wear regular shoes.
Yeah, but skates are like you're walking on knives, though. That deserves having to only go for like a third of the game.
Do you think that you could skate farther or walk farther?
Hit me with the rest of the stipulations here. Like, what are we talking?
Just an imaginary situation where there's a straight line of ice and next to it, a straight line of dirt.
Yeah.
And I have some skates here, and I'm telling you, Jake, you have to go as far as you can. Are you turning down the skates?
Can I get up if I fall?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you go the skates.
I know.
Okay, you're right. My Easter baskets of the week over here on the What's Happening tab on Twitter. This has been here for like 4 days. Is video
Sarah J.
No, not this time. Video of Joe Biden outside the White House is real, according to fact checkers.
Yeah, I don't want to know what that is either.
Just like
that's something for all the rest of y'all to
computer. Don't want to know.
No,
like, this is where we're at now. Like,
yeah.
Did people think that it was a fake video of him, and then Snopes had to get on the case because Daniel Dale has really nothing left to do anymore?
I'll never find out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I enjoyed our discussion figuring out who Deshaun Watson's legal representation at this point is.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, if you got Tony Busby on one side, what the fuck is it with Houston?
Yeah, I know.
That they've got so many big name attorneys, because Joe Jamail was Houston.
There you go.
But Rusty Hardin, the man who prevented Anna Nicole Smith from getting one single penny of the estate of that 80-year-old man that she had to fuck over and over.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But like,
It's a large iceberg.
It's a massive iceberg.
Defended Roger Clemens whenever he was up for perjury on saying he didn't do steroids, telling that to Congress.
I really appreciate this list that we have going of, instead of here's some guys you might not remember and it being like Natron Means or Keenan McCardle, it's plaintiff attorneys.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, here's a guy you might remember.
He had a big trial in 93.
So I haven't, the Deshaun Watson story is very odd because like off the rip, I'm pretty skeptical of it. But
I thought that everything, I understood what you were saying and everything about your initial segment, but I was wondering if this is going to come back to, and I don't know, I'm not there yet, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not, like, I mean, in most normal circumstances, if you have three women saying this, like, similar things, I'd be like, it sounds like this guy likes to attempt to have sex with masseuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lawyer is pretty half-cocked. I think that's probably where I fall. I would say at this point, if it's a preponderance of evidence standard, which civil suits are, I haven't gone to law school specifically, but
you picked up a little bit in your time at Pricewater T. Rowe Fish House or whatever
Yes.
the firm we used to have you working at.
Merrill Lynch is not a law firm, dude.
I know, but you get familiarized with legal wranglings whenever you're in that investment world that you were.
So I do know that civil suits is a preponderance of evidence standard. If you just tell me that there's two other women, defense is Rusty's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I mean, they say there's 7 now. But I
thought
know.
he said like 9, but so far 3 have filed.
3 have filed.
I'm like, if he gets to 9, it might be 7. I don't know. I get numbers mixed up. I'm dyslexic. I'm not dyslexic. I just feel like that's something that I've heard more and more.
In the coming days and weeks?
Just about numbers specifically. I've heard a lot about numbers dyslexia.
I don't want to, I don't want to make light of anybody who has like a really hardcore version of that and it's debilitating in any way, but I think I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it happens to me all the time.
I getting the sense that this is something that like on a low level, like thousands of people, or, not thousands, but a large percentage of population, like thousands was not capturing it. It's more than that. Because like I said, I hear it a lot of times. And I wonder if it's because I don't think I heard it at all as a kid, and it just seems likely. The explanation to me is that, back then, if you were like, I can't get this, they'd be like, you lazy fuck, and they'd hit you on the head with a ruler.
Right. They'd burn you.
Now they might ask a single question like, well, what's tough about it? Well, I got to read it a couple times before I can make out the numbers.
But Rusty Harden, as you mentioned, was effectively able to run Anna Nicole Smith out of the paint. Mm-hmm. So we're not talking about a lightweight here. We're talking about a man who represents high-profile athletes and J. Howard Marshall.
Yeah. The Adrian Peterson child abuse case.
That's right.
Rusty was in the courtroom.
Joel Osteen's wife, I'm seeing here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He represented Arthur Anderson from Enron.
Yeah.
So
prevented them from seeing any penalties at all. And if you go listen to the You're Wrong about them, it's pretty much them. Like as far as who didn't do their job here that caused this entire thing to occur, Arthur Anderson is not a person. It's an accounting firm.
Okay,
But that accounting firm, now. The structure was such that no one ever said Enron can be trusted to figure out their own shit. No one check in on them. Like there was always a system of regulation that was supposed to catch if Enron did the kinds of things that they did. And Arthur Anderson was the one tasked with that responsibility and just kept on being like, it looks fine to me. I mean, I didn't look, but you can keep going.
They Pepper Hamiltoned it.
Yeah.
Pepper Hamilton absolutely sounds like an outside linebacker.
I think he was.
And then I'm seeing here, there is an odd, just Houston bent to all the clients. Warren Moon. Calvin Murphy, apparently.
Skip to My Lou got a DWI downtown Houston. Rusty got him out.
Look at that. So all I'm saying is the deck may be stacked against Deshaun and Rusty, but Rusty's got
Rusty he's wiggled his way out of harder jams before.
Yeah, he can play outside the pocket a little
For
bit.
example, Roger Clemens clearly did lie.
Yeah. That's
Adrian
a weird
Peterson beat the shit out of that kid. Anna Nicole Smith was married to that dude.
One. Yeah. And then I didn't click the link, but so what was Tyler Skaggs' family situation? Were they suing?
I mean, I would assume they were suing the Angels because they were employing someone who sold their son heroin he died on.
Is that how that ended up working? Like, did he bought it from he bought Oxy from a team doctor, or was getting it from a team?
I don't think it was a doctor. I think it was like promotions department kind of.
Wow.
But it was an employee in the organization.
Damn, dude.
I would talk to Rusty about that if I was in a similar situation.
But I think our exchange just included something that you don't really hear a whole lot about, which is that like we don't have any new attorneys.
Yeah,
Like as a society, it's just the same five. Like so, you got Gloria Allred, Lawhawk. Okay,
he's young and on the way up.
And I do laugh every year whenever the other guy, who I think wanted to take a run at Lawhawk's crown, who goes by the Velociraptor. It's a big
Jesus,
one.
that's good.
It is very good. But like prominent, like civil litigation attorneys, like you got Gloria Allred.
Yeah.
For the ladies,
mm-hmm.
You got the Dersh.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not like any new blood in this game.
Yeah, it's a problem because Rusty Hardin, you started hearing about. I mean, these cases we're talking about span our entire lives.
Yes.
So it's not like it's always the case that the 70-year-old attorneys are the big ones. Like Rusty was big when he was young. When he was 40, he was a big fucking deal. But now there is not a similar person who's 40. This was the dynamic that caused Bill Simmons to join to become the Boston sports guy on AOL Digital Cities.
What's that?
Like he worked at the Boston Globe, and they were kind of like, "Hey, work your way up the ladder. Best of luck." And he's like, Bob Ryan is the guy that I'm trying to unseat.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think that he still writes, but I mean, it's within the last 5 years. So like, what if you're just the guy waiting behind Bob Ryan?
Yeah.
Like you just want that column, and you'll just take it whenever Bob's done. Like what Bob got to start doing his shit when he was Simmons' age at the time,
Yeah.
But like you just there was a land grab. Bill missed out on it, so he tried to find the other land grab and did quite well for himself. Now he's a house in Malibu.
More than one. I mean, I don't know if there's more than one in Malibu, but...
Yeah, no, the Malibu house is not the primary residence.
Amazing, dude.
He's got one, like, in Hollywood area.
I remember Dan reading just the value of each one of his homes, and it's staggering.
I remember the Malibu one,
I can't even really be mad at it.
Being like, 2-1 or something. Like... It was a $4 million house, but because it's Malibu, It was like, smaller than this.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, although I would take it. Having a beachside house in a beach that in an ocean you can't really swim in most of the time seems like someone screwed you over. I would much rather a house in Miami.
So is there, I guess I don't know much about the ocean in California. So I was about to
I think the whole Pacific is pretty cold most of the time.
The whole thing.
I think so. I mean,
but you and I got in a lake in Montana.
Yeah, no, I would get in. And obviously people do.
As they say.
That's right. I mean, people surf and stuff, but they're usually wearing wetsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think most of the year, if you want to do that, that's probably advised. It's not like Miami. Like I swam in the Atlantic in February in Miami, and it was delightful.
Did we ever talk about because like sometimes whenever we sit down to do the podcast, I just have stuff that's still open from Why Today Doesn't Suck. Did we ever talk about Grover Cleveland's marriage situation?
I kind of think that we did.
Okay.
I know that I know about it.
Okay, I know we talked about it on Noon to 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was whenever we first got really interested in the fact that Tiger had nailed his neighbor's daughter that he knew whenever she was like 12.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's.
I've stayed away from the documentary because I haven't read the book yet. And I'd like to read the book. Okay, it's not.
No.
Well, then what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know, like...
Why make a documentary on a person who has had sex with his neighbor's daughter if you don't include that?
Yeah. Man, you didn't watch that?
Not yet. I will once I read the book.
I applaud some of your self-control on your content consumption choices.
I don't know. It just sounded like such a good book. I know that if I watch the documentary, I won't read the book after. I'm sure of that.
Tiger Woods' neighbor daughter. Since she was 14.
When he did that?
No.
Oh.
But that's whenever they moved there.
Yeah.
He didn't have sex with her until she was 21. So a respectful man.
I don't know.
But he knew her when she was 14.
Not something I would do.
Maybe she was 13. She was either 13 or 14, which got me to looking at just situations where dudes have ended up with females that they knew as children. In the case of Grover Cleveland, it was a literal...
Speaking of our earlier subject.
It was a literal baby. Like his friend's baby that he had known since birth, and 21 years later married her.
Yeah, but I think Mike was there whenever they brought this woman's now his wife home from the hospital.
Like who?
Madonna.
Oh, the golfer? Is she that young?
I mean, I think that he's been like... I think that it was a deal where, like, he saw her once when she was, like, extremely fucking young, like a baby. And then, like, not again until she was in her mid-20s. I think that's the situation.
I guess I didn't realize she was that young. Well, she's 33 and he's 50, so maybe so. But I was... Dude, you know what? Like, somewhat of a under the radar...
I'm closer to age... than Mike is. Do you think she would want to marry me instead?
It's worth a shot. You know the names of some famous attorneys you might have forgot about if you'd like to try her with that party trick. My version of being somewhat of a music hipster during the like TRL, the height of the TRL era, is I was like, nah, dude, I'm more of a Will Ford guy.
Yeah.
Because she was like the 5th most popular one, and it felt like you were doing something slightly off the board.
Yeah.
But she's 40, which I did not realize. I would have thought she was considerably younger than that, like basically my age. But
yeah, that's a good point. I guess I would have thought she was about your age.
Yeah.
Because she was known for being young when I was in college.
Yeah. I think they had a pretty messy one, too.
That's unfortunate.
I think I think that one got pretty sideways.
I'm praying for them. I mean, you know, she probably just sensed that he was the kind of dude that moved to Phoenix. It's hard to take that.
What's your deal with Phoenix, man?
You ever been there?
I have not. I literally only know of it through you hating it.
Don't go!
I know! You've told me like 1,000 times.
Whatever, you know. So I wanted to do Ron Haraney follow-up.
Okay.
But I'm not really prepared to.
Okay. Doesn't seem like something you needed to tell me.
No, I just, you know, like I just wish I had more time to poke around that the Law Flog blog and see if I could find anything else. But I did find him talking about the case like 2 years after the post that I was reading on the air yesterday. Just for anyone who didn't happen to listen to the podcast recorded yesterday, but are listening to the one that we recorded today. Ron Haraney's a businessman in Longview, Texas, who was shot in the front area of his home. Killer was never caught. And it came out later through a lawsuit that the person leading the DPS investigation into it, that particular Texas Ranger was sleeping with his wife. And it's not entirely clear or nailed down whether or not the sleeping started before or after the death. You know, greatly changes either way, right?
Yes.
But so then there was another DPS officer, not the one sleeping with the wife, but one who knew him and was connected to him, whose wife called a guy, or, you know, according to the guy who writes the blog, called the guy and said that she thought that the sketch looked like her husband. He owned a gun that had been the kind of gun that she heard had been used in it, and then it looked at, had found a way backdoor into his phone tracking and saw that he was in the area at the time that the murder was committed. I saw something about how that like federal authorities were investigating that tip, but like I said, that was a couple years ago, and the guy mentioned the case again like years later, and probably like two. I don't want to exaggerate. Yeah, I think it was like 2018 or 19 that the post I'm talking about was written, and then 2020 there was another post talking about the case, but like making no reference to, like, he wasn't acting like someone who had clear evidence of a murder, and the guy was just walking around free. Like, don't you feel like if you ever mention that case again, and you feel like you knew for sure what had happened, that you wouldn't just be like, well, the case, whatever, no big. I don't have anything further to say.
Yeah.
I would be like shouting from the rooftops, like, "Holy shit, we know who did it!" So I don't know, dude. It's weird. I can say with some authority that the guy has not been arrested. I don't know how long the investigation could possibly take, but yeah. Anyways, that's where we are. The honest answer is I'm confused, and I don't know. To some extent, the most likely explanation kind of looks like just either the guy was taken for a ride, or that he was lying entirely, or I don't know. But I do know that a man was killed in Longview and that the killers have not been caught.
Yeah, and that is a possible someone got away with it, huh?
Yes.
At least still at this point.
Yes.
Man, I'm trying to remember. There was a murder. There was a murder in NRH that occurred across the street from my buddy's house. And he lived on a street called Miracle Lane. And or maybe Miracle was around the corner. But I think that one might have been unsolved too. And it was always called The Murder on Miracle Lane, which felt very Dateline-y.
Hell yeah.
And it's not the one that you know about. The other,
Thank you.
There's been
Thank
a couple murders in
that.
my hometown.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I'm pretty sure ended up. That's like a really macabre moment where you almost have your pin it out for your suburb when you end up on Nightline. Like for the most
I just
awful
imagine
of reasons.
I imagine it like an old, years ago whenever you turned on Nightline, you didn't know what it was going to be, like you just hadn't heard anything about any of these stories. Like everyone was fresh. And I just imagine you like sitting there watching Nightline with a bowl of popcorn on your dated 80s couch, and you just hear North Richland Hills, and you perk up and tap
Leo
your poodle
beam
on the shoulder and be like, look, they're going to talk about us.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it works.
A man was killed today.
And I'm like, but here?
Do you want to stay on the North Richland Hills beat?
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, you know what I have. You've already talked about it plenty, but I kind of wanted to play the audio and start and stop and go over the entire thing. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Just be you.
This other story looks okay. GOP leaders demand Russia release North Texan.
I do hope he gets out. I think if you click on that, it goes live, because I was confused by it before. I'm pretty sure the right story will play once we get done with these Picard ads.
What is Picard?
I mean, it's about the Star Trek guy.
That's his name?
Captain Picard?
I don't know. I've never seen 1 second of Star Trek.
I mean, I haven't either, but
More of a DC guy.
I know.
Dude, did they put out a fucking 4-hour superhero movie today? Is that the
it
word
is.
on the streets that I'm hearing?
And
That is extremely, extremely asshole-ish.
well, I mean, the whole thing.
No, I don't.
It's like I'm trying to think of. Am I like not in the thing that I was looking for?
It doesn't look like it.
Because it sure doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it
I
at
mean,
all.
You saw me click the link.
I did see you click a link, but right now I just see you watching a bunch of ads.
Yeah, well,
And
I
looking
wish
at a
this was
statue
going
of a
better than it
horse.
is.
So a woman was having Bruno Mars bilk her out of a bunch of money.
But so Zack Snyder, you familiar with the director Zack Snyder? You
No.
ever heard of his work? Okay.
No.
He made 300.
Okay. I've heard of that.
Sin City, I think, was him. That was big when we were in college.
Yeah, that movie gave me the creeps. But
never saw
I have
it.
seen it though.
I think that he sucks.
And there's
I
another
don't
one
like
that's
any of
related
Zack
to it,
Snyder's
right?
movies.
I thought that was Frank Miller.
You might be right.
Yeah, Frank Miller. did Sin City, and he did another one too, right? That was like
Maybe he did 300. I don't fucking know.
Jeez, what a just a fountain of poor information.
I've had a stronger 5-minute stretch in my life. Okay.
All right, so are you done with the Northwich and Hills Bruno Mars thing?
No,
like
I had to check the 300 thing. He
Okay.
did do 300.
Okay.
Well, just while I'm looking at it, you were asking about the Snyder cut, so I figured I'd tell you.
That is true.
So he, got hired to do Justice League. It's kind of like Avengers, but for DC. I mean, I don't got to tell you. You
do
just
not.
said that you were a DC guy.
That's right, the Hall of Justice.
And
That's where we Congress.
what do you kind of do / talk about there?
Justice.
All right.
And how best to achieve it with all my other superhero friends.
And so I think that there was some kind of thing where like a family member had tragedy befall them. And so he was like, I'm out. But you know how it's always a deal of the director has a vision. The studio's like, no, we gotta cut it down. We're trying to sell tickets to moms in Minneapolis. This isn't going to do it. They're not here for your art.
Right.
And so he, all of that was going on, right? Like that he was trying to have his artistic vision upheld, and also I think like bowed out for personal reasons. And then Justice League came out, and it sucked. But I mean, like, what did you think? It's a DC movie, for one. Zack Snyder's never made a good movie his entire fucking life, for two. So I had no plans to see it and could not imagine a world in which it was good. But there are fucking sicko. Like prisons are full of pedophiles and movie theaters are full of DC fans. So, I don't understand either, but like you got to admit at some point that they do exist. And so, they all thought that there could be a good version of the Justice League movie and have spent years, Jake, literally years, just letter writing campaigns, having hashtags, et cetera, saying that, the Justice League would be really good if you got to see the director's cut of that. And so HBO Max came in and was like, fuck it, we're going to show the whole thing. We'll figure it out. And even talked about like making it a TV series because it was going to be so long. Like they knew it was going to be 4 hours, and they thought that you would give that reaction. So they were like, "What if we cut it into like 4 pieces?" But in the end, just released the whole thing, and it went up today. And like the first thing that you see is them being like, this is his vision, and we all respect that. And so for that reason, it'll be shown in a 4:3 aspect ratio.
I don't even know what that means.
It's what your old TV looked like.
I hear a lot of people say those sorts of things, and a lot of times I nod.
You remember
but I don't know I have no idea what that means.
Think back to the early scenario where I had you watching TV in the 80s with next to your poodle on the couch.
So that's what that was.
You were watching a 4:3 television.
Okay. It wasn't like an uneven front.
No, it's just what we all used to watch. But
football joke, blow me up, dog.
Okay, yeah, I guess I do get that. Now that you explain it, I don't like it, though.
I didn't ask you to like it. I asked you to acknowledge it.
Well, I've done that.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that the 4:3 aspect ratio is the best way to really fully explore the DC extended universe?
They're made for each other. I'll agree with that.
I couldn't even get it out. I just pick up a lot of terms on social media and then like to annoy you with them without having a clue what any of it means.
You know what that means. All right. Here's a woman who's doing great.
Hills woman at the center of a scam that captured worldwide attention.
Police say a Texas woman was scammed out of $100,000 after she fell in love with someone pretending to be entertainer Bruno Mars.
Cybercrimes prosecutors say he befriended her on Instagram, convinced her that he was the famous entertainer.
It's very
and that he
Brian
needed help
Johnson.
with his touring expenses.
For the first time, she is speaking out about the money and the men behind.
Okay.
A lot of things good so far. One, I love that they cut in actual footage of Bruno Mars.
Yeah, getting off a G5.
Yeah, like a long lens thing. Yeah, of him like going onto a plane. That really drives it home. And then the woman she's attempting to stay anonymous, which of course we respect. But
with one key identifying.
Yeah, instead of just being like, we're not going to show her at all.
A full silhouette.
We're going to do full silhouette. They got it mostly blacked out, except she did want to get in that she has a beautiful blue bucket hat.
Like the type of hat that like you don't know anybody that owns, so it effectively completely gives her up if she ever wears this hat anywhere.
I mean, from the it doesn't.
Hey, you're the lady with the blue hat from the Dummy story.
It doesn't tell me anything about her demographics that I don't already know from the content of the story.
Right.
But I don't know that someone attempting to remain anonymous wants to confirm it that hard.
That's awesome. I had not seen this yet.
This scheme, she agreed to the interview as long as we don't identify her. So for this story,
but we also
we're just gonna
highlight
call
her dope
Jane.
hat.
She's concerned about her safety and doesn't want to become a victim again.
Yeah, that's
Jane
fair.
says she was adjusting to a new life in.
She's got a lot of bad hats.
She's got bad hats. She's got a bad perm. She looks like she smokes, even with a blurred face. Like I can just tell.
Like, on the one hand, you're right, but like on the other hand, how can you possibly know that,
dude? You exactly.
I agree.
17. Her husband of 25 years had passed away. She moved into a new home, bought a new phone, and joined social media.
I thought, well, they are my friends, right?
What the
She
fuck?
communicated with friends and strangers. One man came on strong right away.
The first thing that they sent to me was, I want to marry you.
Actually, they've got the text up, and the first thing that he says is, "Hi, babe."
Yeah.
So let me ask you. Have you ever received a message on Facebook? Although I don't know when you got out. I mean, I'm sure that you probably got the spam at some point, but it has exploded.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. I've got messages I think that are like years old. I'm getting all the now that I do the Excel podcast. There's a lot of Excel kids who listen, and like that's kind of the only way they know how to contact me. So like, I kind of noticed like some of them were at the top, but there's years worth of shit back in there that I don't fucking know what's going on, and I'm never gonna know. I don't want to know. I don't fucking check that shit.
I remember it like starting to pop a little bit, but I mainly remember Facebook's spam and scams as Mike Reiner funding a Somalian insurgency.
Yes.
Or nearly did.
Yeah. Now, you know, that one was like just so much better than, "Hey, Mike, it's me, Bruno Mars." Like it was, they'd actually gotten into the account of someone that he knew, like a friend, someone who, where if they asked him for $4,000, like if he actually was them, he would have done it.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point of like, I think that he like started the transaction, was able to cancel it mid thing. I don't think he ended up out money.
He did.
Yeah. And I think that got CBS treatment too, right?
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure there was a news story run on it.
But to your point about this,
because I remember him sitting in Prod A with like the cameras on him.
This scam started with like the weakest attempt ever of just, "Hi, babe."
Yeah, just if the start of the extortion attempt is "Hi, babe," what do you think the chances it's getting you, Jake?
0.
Yeah, dude, that is the classic like fucking.
But do you think there's a point where you'll age into the target demo?
I mean, you got to look at the evidence and like say that better men than I have befallen this curse.
Yeah.
Like my grandfather led a far more impressive life than anything I'm going to, and he's very old now.
Yeah.
And he hasn't sent money to Bruno Mars, but it's a bummer.
Yeah, I want to. Grapevine man and radio host Jake Kemp says that the initial text that said "Hi, babe" was followed by an account purporting to be a woman named Sarah J. who was asking him for thousands of dollars and to shoot her adult videos in his garage. He outfitted the garage with a porno studio.
Like one corner is a classroom motif.
Right.
One's a doctor's office.
A huge thing of oil.
Yeah, just in the middle is a keg of oil. It was in her rider.
Here's his awesome hat.
No, if we ever, I feel like it hasn't been recently, but I feel like over the course of our time, there's been times where we're like, you know what? We are going to we're going to get into doing skits on YouTube for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like just getting one of you, but like it just is Bruno Mars, has some play. Just like I didn't even know that I was gay.
He's a very attractive man.
Yeah, no, I'd make out with Bruno Mars.
I have to give the scammer that, right? Like they didn't choose
picked well.
Exactly. They didn't. It wasn't like
it's me, Gary Busey.
You know, it would be really
Give me your
funny
money.
to see if where he started before he was like, all right, I've narrowed it down. Like, boy, nobody's taking the bait on this D. Snyder approach.
Yeah. I thought he was big.
Like a guy with 35-year-old pop culture sensibilities and knowledge before he finally realizes,
like at Excel.
The Grammys! I knew it. This is the spot.
At Excel, we had Sports Illustrateds, but like the kid whose parents had been sending them he had like been gone for like months by the time that I got around to him. So yeah, all of my knowledge was like I knew a lot about the NFL 6 months ago and none about it now.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, you just imagine that like they're getting Billboard, but they've got a big stack of billboards. But yeah, it's only from 1983.
Hey, hello, babe. This is Derek from Sum 41.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I've not heard of
I don't
you.
know who that is. I got no idea.
He tried that a number of times. Didn't work. And now here we are.
Oh, jeez.
Sent Bruno Mars pictures to me.
The profile had the singer's name and photos, so Jane believed it was the Bruno Mars just looking for someone to talk to. They spent weeks trading messages.
God, that's great.
The first they do is they try to be your friend and get to know you, get to be comfortable with you.
Bruno said he was in a bind.
I have
he needed
regrets that I haven't
$5,000 right away
stopped
to
and
pay
like
for
read
rental
each
cars.
one of these.
Yeah.
When she didn't immediately say no,
Only
he asked
10,000
for
am
more.
asking
It
for.
went from 5 to 10
like,
to
okay.
then we start getting bigger. Okay.
I mean, it is Bruno
Jane sent a
Mars.
cashier's check for $10,000.
Amazing.
But Bruno said he needed more
I'm in
help,
fund
more
crisis.
money for his tour.
Can you
The
get it
next
from me or
thing I
not?
knew, I was going to the bank and I was cashing out all my bonds.
She
Okay.
handed over
Stop it
another
real quick.
cashier's check. This time
I'm trying.
for $90,000.
Okay.
I'm just
$90,000?
$90,000.
I was trying to stop it, so I wasn't really paying attention. Now I see the frozen screen says $90,000.
On top
I
of
guess
the 10.
it got to 200. So
But yeah, that's like I'm trying to piece all the different bits of evidence together here. She had $200,000 that she could cash out to give away.
which clear indication that our system is broken.
What, a dummy had $200,000?
Anyone arguing against wealth redistribution needs to reckon with this.
Yes. Okay, so she's got $200,000. Now, her husband did just pass, so I don't know if that was just a part of life insurance or what. But in any case, she has access to nearly $250,000. She has that hat.
Yeah. Hard to square all that info you've given me.
I'm putting it all together here for you, and I think you're going to see that this puzzle is not going to be satisfactory in the end. Number 3, she knows who Bruno Mars is, which, like, I understand he's massive. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom and stepdad went with friends to go see Bruno Mars a couple years ago. Like,
My aunt has seen Bruno Mars live in concert.
Okay, so...
And to be frank, I'm jealous.
Yeah, no, I would go.
I'll bet he rocked the United Center that night.
I would absolutely go. But she knows who Bruno Mars is, which means she knows he's massive, and it's not like Sam Anderson, like trying to pull one over on somebody. Like, he's like maybe the biggest pop star in the world, yet she thinks it's possible that he would be asking her for $5,000 for rental cars.
I wonder if Sam would
And
move
she
in
has
with
that
her
hat.
for $200,000.
He would work for a lot less than that, but it's COVID year. It's been a tough 13 months for live music. But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, again, it's just hard for me to put myself in the position of somebody with either less digital literacy or maybe you could say cultural literacy. And I'm trying to think of, like, whether or not I have a parent that could fall
Like,
for
you
this. But my
think
point
that
is, like,
most people who would give up $200,000 in a scam haven't heard of Bruno Mars.
and I also think that...
See, I think that he is kind of like, if you are like, yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of people in that category. Most of the owners of that hat, like, just don't follow popular music at all. Like, you know, they might give $200K to Michael Bolton, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But I think if you are engaging with popular music at that age, I think he is one of your top guys.
Okay, but don't you think that you would know, in no uncertain terms, is Bruno Mars going to be hard up for $5K? Like, you know, he's one of the biggest artists in the world, and that it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
He's not liquid.
He almost certainly used that line in this exchange. Like, I got you back. My money's tied up in
I don't know.
They got me on this fucking 365 deal. The labels.
I'm reading these
screwing me
messages.
over.
I'm not getting the sense of someone who has a vocabulary with the word liquid in it. Doesn't feel like they go up to liquid.
That is true. He did say something to the effect of "am need money."
Yeah. All right.
Bruno said he was sending her something, an engagement ring. It arrived in a priority envelope from a Houston address with Mars's name.
It wasn't like we were in love, like love. It was more like I was in love with his talent.
He asked to come live with her
Jesus Christ.
in North Richland Hills. Jane was excited. She spent more money buying musical equipment and making room for the entire band.
I set up a studio in my garage. I bought some instruments for him. The band is going to stay here.
She decorated the guitars with his name on it.
Well, I mean, you know that it's him. It said it right there on the return address on the envelope. Bruno Mars. Like,
I think
come on,
that if there
man.
were any justice in this world, you know that Bruno has seen this story. He needs to come and live with this woman for a week.
like, at minimum, it would be a cool move if he, like, bought all the gear from her and gave it away. Or, like, did something, right? Like, something...
God, I'd pay $200 right now for the guitar that she wrote Bruno Mars on.
And yeah, he's going to sleep in these little dinky-ass bunk beds she put in here. And also, like, now she's housing the whole band. What band? What band?
He's got a band.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's probably not even always the same people.
I think
like,
it is.
Is it? Because it's not Bruno Mars and the such and suches, you know, like...
Yeah, no, but I mean, even like Elton John, I watch a lot of Elton John. And those guys that he was with when we saw him it's like one or two different from like the people he was playing with in the 70s.
Yeah,
a lot
I guess
of those
I have
times
heard
people
Mike
will be loyal.
reference that.
And the Bruno, I mean, I think that his is a hard one to join because all of those guys like are excellent musicians who are on his level or above as dancers.
Yeah, that's true too.
And so because in addition to Elton John, I watch a lot of Bruno Mars videos on YouTube, late at night, having a great time. And one, definitely here to tell you they're dope as fuck. Two, yeah, I constantly think like, how did he find 5 dudes who can play instruments at that level while having those smooth moves?
Yeah, that's impressive. 2 things real quick I need to mention here.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll just do one quickly. I'm looking at Bruno Mars's Wikipedia page here right now.
Where's he from? New York?
Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah. Do you know his real name?
No. Bruno Mars?
No. Despite the fact that the legal record that is the envelope would indicate such, no. Peter Gene Hernandez.
Oh, Jesus.
Not a good name.
Yeah.
Not a good name. I totally understand. So, I'm doing somewhat of a callback here to something we've talked about before. Bruno Mars.
The 4-3 under front?
No. Was first signed to a publishing deal in 2005 with a producer named Steve Lindsay. Steve Lindsay showed Mars and fellow songwriters Brody Brown and Jeff Basker, who Mars met through Mike Lynn, the ins and outs of writing pop music. I have referenced Jeff Basker before. Do you know why?
I know that name. No.
Because I used to be really into reading the liner notes on albums I bought and looking at like, damn, that guy's playing bass on everything.
Yeah.
So he played a ton of stuff on Twisted Fantasy, a ton of stuff on 808s. He won a Grammy for Run This Town by Jay-Z. Co-wrote All the Lights.
And he and Bruno were like coming up together, learning from the same guy?
Co-wrote Uptown Funk. He's a little older. He's 47. And our buddy Jordan Richardson of the Hang Zone theme fame has sessioned with him before.
Really?
Yes.
I hope to ask him about that one day.
Yeah,
I know he's listening now because he has shown special interest in this story. I only learned that this story existed whenever he was furiously texting me when it was airing live on CBS.
Yeah. So Jeff Basker just go look at his Wikipedia page. It's absurd. Cuddy, the games documentary, the documentary, 808s.
That's tight.
Yeah. I like stuff like that. Like just seeing, hey, this guy's done all this stuff.
Yeah. The people that you've heard a million times but don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he was going to live with this woman.
Then another text message emergency. Mars's plane had been detained in Washington, D.C. He was in police custody until he could pay fees to the airport and the pilots. An outrageous story we know,
have been detained.
But she believed it.
They were constantly showing me pictures of them in jail. Pictures of Bruno Mars in jail.
He's got an old-timey fucking striped jumpsuit on.
He's breaking rocks. Pause it.
Get sent to jail in the Depression.
Yes, he's in a cell with Cool Hand Luke.
Jane says the relationship consumed her
Just
life.
look at it.
She was up all night answering messages.
That was almost certainly like some form of promotional photo that like, I don't know if Bruno Mars has a jail-themed movie, or not movie, but, music video.
Yeah.
But, like, that's clearly just a promo photo where he's got handcuffs on.
I love the Nigerian dude, like, searching Google images of Bruno Mars and being like,
Got it.
Jackpot.
Got it.
This is $1 million photo right here.
Fry your ass with this one.
Spending her days buying cashier's checks and withdrawing cash around
All right, stop
town.
it again. Stop it again. This came up on the show just the other day. I think it was when we did this story.
What is a cashier's check?
Yeah, but it's like, there are a couple, actually.
I don't know the difference between that and a money order.
I don't either. That's fine.
But I know that they function similarly.
But
I don't really know what a money order does.
For a long time, I can't remember which place I lived at that rent was this way, but my landlord, I didn't have any checks. And I wanted to have a record of paying them. So I had to use a money order for rent. And there's a couple things I actually have to use it for now. And it's beaten. Like the concept of going and purchasing a money order cashier's check. One other thing I don't know what it is that I would group in here. Traveler's check.
Ooh, yeah,
These are
for sure.
beaten methods of payment. And if you find yourself buying dozens of them.
See, I just think that
red lights should be going off.
You're definitely right, and that has been my personal experience. The only time I used money orders is whenever we lived on Greenville. I think both of the houses we were in, like they didn't have any kind of like pay with a card.
Yeah, that might have been when it was.
So it was, and I don't know. I didn't like have checks then. Like I had a bank account, but I didn't really understand how to get more checks. Like I figured if I went into the bank, they would probably give me some, but I don't want to do all that. So certainly that would have been less time, just like one time going and getting some checks. But I knew that if I went to 7-Eleven, that it was like less than $1 onto the rent to get a cashier's check there. So I just paid my rent in 7-Eleven cashier's checks every month.
I did that many times.
Yeah.
And it felt super beaten.
Yeah, no. And then you trudge back to your fucking rat nest that you live in.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's how it felt. But I would say the traveler's checks now occupy that space. When I was a child, I felt like
big shit.
Donald Trump paid for everything in traveler's checks.
Yeah.
And he probably did at the time.
Dude, there's no doubt that he was a big traveler's check guy.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what that means, but I can almost promise you.
I mean, it sounds so luxurious. They're traveling, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. And does it just mean that they're backed by something. I have no idea.
I'll never know.
But again, if you find yourself buying more than like one of them in a week, a money order, a cashier's
and someone
check,
can send me an email explaining this.
I'll delete it.
Thinking that they'll show me, in my claim that I don't know. I told you I didn't know about water towers. A ton of people tried to explain it. I know nothing. No fucking clue.
Yeah, tell me all about water towers, traveler's checks, and NFTs. I will read all those emails for sure.
She collected another $50,000. That's when the scammers became even bolder.
Bruno had someone come
Bolder
here
than
to
that?
so they could get him.
Okay,
out of
press
jail. I had
pause.
to be quick.
Okay. So
You're the one that wants to get home early. We can't do it if we go through this 2 seconds at a time.
Okay. But so she's got this, like, why even darken and do the silhouette? You're going to wear this dumb hat that if you ever wear again, everybody's going to be like, hey, I saw you on the news. And now they're in her home.
Well, I mean, the thing she said was that she wanted to not be taken by further scammers. And so they are going to have a hard time just Googling, like, dumbass blue hat and tacky home and finding her name.
I guess that's true.
But she is making it so that every single person who she's ever met is now going to be like,
hey, I saw you on the news.
The fucking Bruno Mars lady.
Cool hat. Bruno buy that for you?
Of course, security guard needed the money right now. Everything was emergency.
A man appeared at her front door and took the money for
IRL.
Mars's release. The fake Bruno said he wanted to fly to Texas right away, but he needed $5,000 for jet fuel. After months of giving and giving and giving, Jane finally realized she'd been duped.
Now they threatened to poison and kill me if I didn't give them the money. That's the way it got near the end. It doesn't get any better. As you start giving to these people, they want more and more and more.
She contacted police.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's presenting that as, first of all, let's have some humility and not, like, give advice to others in this situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need you laying out any roadmaps for me.
Yeah, this seems like a YP.
And
lady.
she just sounds so shocked by it. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, and they just take and take and take. And you know what else? It wasn't even Bruno Mars.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys had put that together yet or not. And now they're showing one of the suspects.
Uh-huh.
Kind of surprising. Masked up.
Yeah.
So there are some rules he respects.
And just take that like next time you see someone who's breathing on you in the gas station and doesn't have a mask, that should be your rejoinder. Even the Bruno Mars scammers had more class than this.
That's a good call. And whenever they put North Richland Hills on the map here, did they need to use like the city's font, like from
I
City
kinda
Hall?
like it. I don't think they did that for Houston either, which is weird because it's a bigger city, far more important than North Richland Hills.
Fair, a lot more
Rusty Harden's
lot more
there.
attorneys, yeah.
Yeah.
To trace the cashier's checks to 2 Nigerian citizens in Houston. Both are charged with money laundering. It's believed the mastermind, the Mars imposter, is overseas.
I'm so ashamed
I
it
think one of those guys got to deal with the Bengals.
happened to me. I'm so sorry that
Not a ball
I helped
hawk.
this person, even though I thought he was a famous person.
But even now, Jane says she's still a fan of the real Bruno Mars.
Well, good.
Why not?
He
Yeah,
turned and said, hey, I need some help.
Don't present that as like, can you believe it? He's fucking
Jane
popping either
couldn't
way.
really explain
Yeah.
to us why she didn't tell anyone what was happening sooner. She just bought in and let herself believe. And this, I know, it's an extreme example, but the FBI says romance scams are on the rise.
It
in
is an
2020,
extreme
more
example.
than
That's
23,000
a
victims reported more than
massive
$605
understatement.
million in losses because of romance scams. Compare that to 2015 when there were around just over 12,000 victims.
Okay, we don't know the stats.
Man, that's an absolute banger, TC.
I don't know. I'm sure that if we took some time to think about it, we could get up some contenders. I don't know that I've ever seen a news story that was better than that.
It's pretty good. It's got the NRH tie.
I appeared on Megan and Josh's movie podcast to talk about the movie Adaptation. You ever seen Adaptation?
Ah, the DC Extended Universe.
Jesus Christ. No, it's amazing. I'm pretty sure you would like it. Like it's very movie, you know? Like it's extremely movie. But I think you would like it.
Nick Cage?
Yeah. And it's
Say
fucking
less.
weird. But in the movie, like The central character is the screenwriter of the film, the literal actual screenwriter of the film. And he's like got this spiel he gives to a number of times in the movie. He's like, I'm making this movie and I want it to be about like real life, you know? I don't want it to be like there's a big adventure or someone learns a lesson or falls in love. I just want it to be, you know, normal and like nothing happens, like real life. And he says that to the famed scriptwriting consultant, Robert McKee. And he's played by Brian Cox, and he's like in the middle of this like writing seminar, you know, and like Nick Cage is one of the people in the audience, and he's like, well, I've been working on something I want it to be like real life where nothing happens. And he launches into like this yelling thing at him of like, you think nothing happens in life? Every fucking day someone goes and sleeps with their best friend. They're murdered by their children every fucking day. That's what I think about whenever I watch this story. I'm like, you think nothing happens in life? A woman gave $200,000 to a man who was not Bruno Mars.
And then she went on TV with a really silly hat on.
Really, honestly, probably even billing wearing that hat on television and giving $200,000 to someone you thought was Bruno Mars. I liked how she noted, she's like, it was always something where they were like trying to do urgency. I'm like, listen, I know we're several steps beyond you recognizing like kind of nuanced red flags like that one, but yes, that's the game. Anytime someone is being like, I need money, and there's a reason that you should believe why I need it immediately, it's because they don't want you to think about the reason very much. They want you to focus on the urgency.
Can I at least point out in conclusion that it is a bit rich that a guy with a Manti Te'o poster hanging over his bed wants to be so judgmental about Hat Lady?
Oh, whatever. If you think that I wouldn't give everything I have to go and counsel a young Manti, just be able to, if I got a time machine, Hitler's doing fine.
But Manti, you'll sit down with and say,
bud, you seem like kind of a weird guy, but you got a lot going for you. I think that doesn't work out if you just tried like a girl that you've met.
Man, what a great story. All right, we'll see you next week.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one, I'm TC and Jake. We do thank you for watching. Good night.